the Mad Master here again. So this is going to be a first in a series of videos, and I've been wanting to do these videos for a long time. Now, I was going to do them in a very much more organized format than this, but I just decided to just do it more off the cuff because I don't know, putting all the work into getting this project as far as this part of the project, as far as these particular videos going, is just a lot more work than I want to put into it right now. I may do more work on this in the future, like make an actual, graphs and charts, and a lot of people have these videos about this, and it's a little bit of a played out subject, but maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit of a new perspective that I may bring to it, but I don't know. I can't guarantee that. But anyways, so you probably saw the title of this video being about feminism, and what that means today is very contentious. Of course, there's a lot of criticism about so-called social justice warriors and so forth and all that. So I really don't identify as a feminist. I'm certainly not an MRA, as they call them. I have disdain for things like, or I don't, maybe not the individual members, but ideas and beliefs such as the MGTOW thing. I think it's kind of silly to just declare yourself those things, but that's, another story. I also don't like this red pill thing, which is almost like a PUA meets MGTOW, weird conflagration of weird shit mixed together. So the whole manosphere thing, other than what I've mentioned in previous videos, where in the original pickup artist subculture, I have a fascination for that, as well as I've kind of dabbled into it from time to time, I will admit. And who knows? But that whole thing got me into, things like neurolinguistic programming and a lot of self-help stuff. So reading about some of that stuff. So it's actually been quite a benefit to my life, at least, indirectly resulted in that. And that's a controversial subject for another time, obviously, what people think about that stuff. But so this one is about feminism, and I'm going to get to the point here. So it's about patriarchy theory. Now, the feminist movement in modern times always talk about this patriarchy thing. So patriarchy basically is defined by people as, the rule by men. And I'm going to look up the actual definition. System or society or government in which the father or eldest male is head of the family and descent is traced through the male line. So this is going to I'm going to jump through a lot of things here, and I'm certainly no expert at a lot of these things, but it's very disputed as far as what early humans did. We have people like that wrote the book Sex at Dawn, or talk about hunter-gatherer, egalitarian societies, and things like that. And then there's the evolutionary psychology people, who would hold that patriarchy is a result of evolution. So this, coming to the presupposition of this video, I somewhat believe that there is a patriarchy to some extent. I mean, you look at who rules society, and it's, at the top is crusty old white males. I mean, there's no denying that. Now, the problem I get or have with feminism's argument against it is that they don't talk about the source or the cause of why this happened originally through time. They don't talk about, well, basically in early human existence, there was, because of actual biological differences between male and female, males just became the protectors over time with evolution and so forth. So we have the system through time that happens today. So basically what they say, or what they imply more than anything. See, most of the criticisms of feminism, to me, are best served when you talk about implications of what they say rather than what they say. It's very subtle and discreet as far as a lot of the stuff they say. And that's why people have a hard time with criticisms of feminism, because they look at the surface structure of language, and they say, oh, well, it's about equal rights. It's about, it's like, well, it's much deeper than that. And a lot of the academic feminism, as they call it, goes a lot more deep and into some really kind of strange territory as a result of a lot of the influences on it, like postmodernism and, Marxism. I'm not trying to be a red baiter by saying that. I'm saying that, Marxism has had an influence, or Hegelian dialectics, or whatever, that a lot of these things kind of go together, wherein society is influenced by itself rather than any kind of events in natural history, or any kind of actual biological basis for anything. And that's really a dangerous slope to go down, and that goes into a lot of different stuff. Obviously, going the other way is results in eugenics, and if you think everything is biological, then that's a problem as well. So it's somewhere in between. So the problem I have with patriarchy theory is that it assumes that, just by a lot of the way that the commentators and the philosophers and the writers and bloggers or vloggers talk about patriarchy, is that it's at one point in history, a bunch of men just decided in this room or a cave or whatever, a boardroom, which originally some cave in fucking Africa or wherever, that, oh, we're going to rule society because we like to rule society, and men are in control. It's like, doesn't look into like the different aspects of maybe what influenced that. Maybe it was evolution. Maybe it was something, that, and I mean, in nature, a lot of different stuff happens that, and this is where evolutionary biology, not psychology, comes from. A lot of the like Matt Ridley, The Red Queen, that's a good book. Some of Richard Dawkins stuff, just a lot of these different influences. And of course, they're white males, so it's patriarchal science, right? So, okay, so fine. All right, it's patriarchal science. And, when I was reading The Red Queen, something, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but something was curious to me, that a lot of these scientists have very feminine names that he was quoting from. So there was a lot of women that he got a lot of his research from. So the whole point is that when women attack, or feminists attack patriarchy, I think they just need to be a little bit more detailed about why it exists and what's the problem with it. It's not giving carte blanche to excuses of evolution, like, well, because men have ruled for centuries, we need to continue to rule. But it's just acknowledging biological and evolutionary things would be helpful to their argument. And that's the problem when it gets all muddled, when they're just attacking these things. Or I'm going to save this for the next video. That really leads to another thing that I'm bothered by, or want to debunk in a certain way within modern feminism. And that's the idea of objectification. So I just think that they need to be more nuanced with their arguments, more detailed in what they are trying to say, and give more clout to the idea that there has to be a reason for the patriarchy through time that has to do with other influences rather than just social or sociological influences. And that's really where they fail, is that if you think it's all sociological or socially constructed, for whatever reason, you don't give, it's very vague and there's not really, it's like, well, I guess, and the implication to your head is like, oh, it's socially constructed. So there's a bunch of men sitting in a room a long time ago that decided this through history. And that's really stupid and just fallacious reasoning to me. So it's not that there isn't a patriarchy, but there has to be other reasons and influences on why there is or was a patriarchy. Some people don't believe it exists anymore. I would argue that doesn't really hold credibility, but it doesn't matter. The people that attack feminism, like on YouTube, like a lot of these guys, or even girls, amazing, from whether it be Amazing Atheist or Thunderfoot or Sargon of Akkad or what was that? There's a lot of different people that attack it, and they have really good points. But I think by attacking I think the best, and I don't want to attack equal rights or egalitarianism. Of course, one of the straw men, or I don't even know if this is a logical fallacy that applies to this, but when the feminism attacks people that are anti-feminism, they basically say, well, you call yourself an egalitarian. That's just giving you an excuse to be a sexist pig. No. Well, I think we need to go after the science, and that's we have to question the science at least. Where is the scientific basis of why there is a patriarchy? What are the reasons for this in evolution? How did this happen to humanity that had happened? And you can go to, if you want to go back to the animal kingdom, that's something you need to start with. I mean, it doesn't mean it needs to continue or exist, but at least acknowledge it. Or else you sound like, if everything's socially constructed and there's no causation, it's like this intangible thing that happened. So that's all for this video. I'm going to do more videos to come on this subject. Next one will probably be objectification. And I had this all plotted out. I wrote down some stuff too, but I never finished it. But this is like kind of my take on this, because it's just all, I've just watched so many videos and read books and articles that I could just do it off the cuff like this, hopefully. And the next one after that, I think, is going to be about, well, I think those are the two things that bother me the most. No, yeah, that's right. So the third one will be about social construction of gender, which is something that really bothers me in so many different ways. But I'm going to leave it for the next video. So I'll see ya.